This is Armed American Radio's Daily Defense.
Armed American Radio's Daily Defense, because they don't want me to, that's why I do it.
Presented by the National Rifle Association. From the CZ Studios.
They're never going to stop us here.
Here is your host, the loudest conservative voice in America, fighting the enemies of freedom.
I'm having to help Paul.
Welcome in, ladies and gentlemen. Armed American Radio's Daily Defense begins right now on a Friday for you. Live from the CZ Studios, Mark Walters filling your prescription for freedom today and every day. Monday through Friday, anyway, in front of this Patriot Mobile Communication and Command Center microphone here at the Patriot Mobile Command Center Ranch Studios. Of course, it's all being brought to you by the National Rifle Association. Greg in Dallas, Texas, how you doing?
Not too bad, just busy as usual over here.
Yeah,
trying to get Paul on the line.
We were a little late to the office today.
Everybody was.
Were you too?
No, I'm right across the glass from the office all day, but between you and your guest, we're just all kind of behind.
Oh, well, yeah, I was a little behind too, which is kind of interesting because I moved from the residence to the studio. So how can you really be late? And to be honest with you, in all of these years, I've never been one split second late to work. Ladies and gentlemen, can you say that? My job requires my not being late to work. I don't think I've ever been late that you've had to cover until I sat in the chair. I don't think that's ever happened.
No, that's not happened.
Radio it doesn't give you much leeway, does it? When time to go, it's time to go.
Yeah, it's back up or it's showtime, one or the other.
One of the two. Well, it's a Friday. It's your favorite day of the week. We are live on YouTube today. Yeah, TGIF. We are live on YouTube today. I'll just go ahead and give your spiel, and I'll let you tell people where they can chat. But we're live on YouTube today. We're live on ArmedAmericanRadio.com, and we're live on X today. No Facebook or no Rumble today. And that's because we were testing our systems, and we did an unhinged and unholstered 2.5-hour test live today with the podcast setup, which will be coming very soon, by the way, once a week. And I'll keep you posted, ladies and gentlemen, when that's going to drop. But if you want to watch it, our test today was fun. I had a great conversation with Carrie Anna Claire from GOAL and Women for Gun Rights. Personal conversation, some life hacks, and just some fun conversation. A completely different flair than Armed American Radio or Armed American Radio's Daily Defense. And no FCC control, by the way, which is kind of fun. So you got to be able to flip that switch on and off, Greg, when you go from one microphone to the other.
Same mic, different stream.
Same mic, different stream, different show, different set of playbook rules, ladies and gentlemen.
Yeah, different rules.
That's for sure. But
one has rules and one does not.
Yeah, you can catch that there at AAR Mark if you want to see it. We had several hundred viewers.
Hey, that's cool.
With, right out of the box, which was kind of fun. It wasn't meant to do. We were doing it really to test everything and wound up with a bunch of viewers. It was a fun conversation, so make sure to go and check that out. So you can tell people where to participate in the chat, and we should be good to go there.
Yeah, sure. Just to join the chat, just download Telegram, create your profile, and search for Armed American Radio Conversations.
Yeah, and that will do it, ladies and gentlemen. How are we doing with Paul? We ready to go with Paul?
I got Paul, yeah.
Paul Markel, student of the gun. How you doing, my brother?
I'm great. I was on time.
You were, I know, but you were later than normal. Greg said to me, who's the guest today? Is Paul coming in? We haven't heard from him yet. He goes, he's texting me now. It seems like everybody was a minute or two late today.
Well,
I was not late. I sat on the phone. It was ringing for 3 minutes.
Let me explain.
So you know.
We've been doing some upgrades equipment-wise in this studio and another studio. And they updated some things, and it was essentially the wrong line group that was not ringing in my studio, so I had to make the adjustment so that I had the right phone line that Paul was calling.
Okay. No, I get it. Believe me.
Don't you tell me I was late.
No.
Hey, the show open was playing, so he was here on time. I got him in the mix minus there. So
yeah, I got live up in here, and I said, Greg, up in here. Greg, I'm up in here. Greg up in here. He said, what's up? I said, I'm a little late. He goes, Open's not playing yet. You're good. I said, all right, there we go. What Greg doesn't know is what I'm going to say next. Paul, what do you want to talk about?
Oh, man. I don't know. So
that's not good. Greg, he doesn't know.
No, I do, actually.
Back up we go.
So have you seen or heard? I went to a gun shop yesterday, and that's a stocking Glock dealer. Mm-hmm. And I asked them if they had V models. They had the Victory model. And the guy said, no, we haven't gotten anything new in from them. I said, okay, cool. So are you hearing rumbling from the street? Because they said November.
It's my understanding, and I could be wrong on this. I'll just tell you what I know so far. And the rumbling on the street that came down anyway, a little bird chirping in my ear, it might not be that reliable, was these models were dropping and beginning to ship on the 15th, which would be tomorrow. So, now tomorrow's a Saturday. I don't know if, I don't know. But it's to be mid-November, so they should be hitting stores, from what I understand, in December. That was what I was told. I could be wrong on that, and I haven't checked the Glock website for that anyway. So, but I know a lot of people are interested in that.
They're not really. Communication is not their strong suit, shall we say?
Never has been
communication.
Well, in large measure, that's by design with Glock. They've been very, very good at that over the years. I have to hand it to them. They say what they say, and then they're done, man. They tell you one time, and they move on. But
the thing is, sometimes they don't even say what they say. Sometimes you just have to,
Yeah, you got to kind of figure it out.
You just got to figure it out for yourself, man.
Now, are you going to be buying any of the new models? I will buy one.
No.
I am. I'm going to.
No, because I think the other little bird in my ear is that come January 24th or 22nd or whatever day SHOT Show kicks off this year, that they're going to release a whole new Gen 6. So
I'm not shocked by any of that from Glock. I think SHOT will be interesting for Glock for a lot of different reasons. Okay, they've always got a huge display in Vegas, one of the biggest booths at SHOT Show. It was always, if you go back in the day, which was, just as little as 2-3 years ago. But it was always Glock and SIG that had the two biggest displays.
Oh, yeah.
At SHOT. And I think with this year's news on Glock, I think if you don't like crowds, SHOT Show's not the place you want to be anyway. But if you don't like crowds within crowds, the Glock booth is probably not going to be where you want to be either. Because I have a feeling that their lines are going to be wrapped around. And that's generally what happens at those big shows, ladies and gentlemen. And you know this, Paul. Again, back in the day, SHOT's changed a lot over the years. But it was where most manufacturers saved their new guns for SHOT Show. Okay?
Oh, yeah.
That's where the unveiling was. And a lot of that has changed over the years. A lot, we'll release some at NRA, some will do it at NASGW, whatever. But for the most part, SHOT is still that big deal, and that's where you'll see, and I have a feeling we'll see that whole lineup in January, and it'll be interesting. There's going to be a lot of people and a lot of press and a lot of media surrounding that booth this year, no doubt. So I take it you're going.
Yeah, so we'll see. Well, I'm planning to. I haven't. Oh, it's about that time, isn't it? Oh,
yeah,
man.
It is. I looked at my hotel room the other day
to do the registration and stuff.
Yeah. I think I've already done that. I got to go in and look. I don't know. I had contemplated for a number of different reasons. I think if I go this year, it's going to be just a quick in and out. I don't think I'm going to spend the week there. But I think I'm just going to pop in and pop out. I don't know. But I will definitely be hitting the Glock booth. There's no question about it. And hopefully I'll see those models at local gun shop before then. I'm interested to see what they are. And I had somebody ask me, are you going to trade one of your guns in for that? I said, no, not at all. I'm going to keep my Glocks. I love my Glocks. I'm just going to buy a new one. I'm not going to trade anything in. I've always liked my Glocks. I carried one today, and I've been fighting my kid, the Car X9 that I have. He wants it all the time. So we're constantly fighting back and forth over that gun. That's a beautiful gun, ladies and gentlemen, the Car X9. Check it out. And I have a ported one on the way, which will be fun. So as soon as I get my hands on that, I'll mention, a little bit about that. And here's an interesting note. I've never shot a ported handgun ever over all these years. You know that? That's unusual, huh?
Well, that's because that was something that we did a long time ago, and we realized that it was a silly idea. But then all these Gen Z, millennial type people grew up and don't remember. So now the porting on carry guns makes about as much sense as boobs on a boar hog, shall we say?
30.
Glock did that back they came out. They had factory ported guns, and they stopped doing it. There was a reason they stopped doing it, because it was a bad idea. Um, it, but we're in this. I think our industry is so. They're chasing their tails.
Yeah, they are now for sure.
They're chasing their tails, and they're trying. It's like it's like the tail is wagging the dog kind of a situation. If one person does it, everybody has to.
Yeah, and this is an interesting time right now, too, with Trump in office and the industry being way down, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. We're going to continue the conversation. That segment flew right by, ladies and gentlemen. That's indicative of what's going to happen for the next 3. I'm just warning you now. Buckle in. It's going to fly right by. We're talking with Paul Markel, student of the gun. We've got 3 more segments with him on a Friday to close out your week. Be right back. following segment of Armed American Radio's Daily Defense is being brought to you by Patriot Mobile. Visit patriotmobile.com/AAR and use the AAR promo code to get free activation today. Welcome back to the show. Welcome back to the show indeed. Mark Walters filling your prescription for freedom here in front of the Patriot Mobile microphone at the Patriot Mobile Command Center here in the CZ studios, all brought to you by the NRA, patriotmobile.com. You heard Stephen Zadie with me yesterday. A lot of fun. Good show yesterday with John Comerford from NRA, ILA, and Stephen. Lots of fun. If you missed it, it's up on podcast. You can grab it at armedamericanradio.com and subscribe to the podcast if you don't already. We would appreciate that. You can also pick it up on your favorite podcast platform. Anywhere there you get your podcast, we're going to be there. Find us at Armed American Radio. Make sure to check out patriotmobile.com. I just used a patriotmobile.com to call my other phone to have it brought out to the studio. So glad we have Patriot Mobile phones at the ranch. You too can have a Patriot Mobile phone. Real simple, patriotmobile.com/AAR, and take advantage of all the cool stuff that they have to offer. Give them a listen from yesterday. You'll find out why. Stephen lays it out far better than I can as a principal in the company. Welcome back. Paul Markel, student of the gun. Good to have you here, brother. So anyway, I'll let you continue what you were talking about before, or we can move on to the next subject if you so choose.
No, I mean, it's the crazy thing that we're dealing with right now, and I've been involved in this industry, I guess, at least a full 30 years or so. I can say, because I started writing for the industry about 32 years ago, almost 33 now, is that where we're at for a gun sales is actually where we used to be. This is actually a normal market. What we've experienced over the last 10 to 15 years is an abnormal market. And that's what's really, screwed over the industry is the abnormality. You had the GWAT, you had the Obama spike, you had the COVID spike, you had all of these external forces changing and altering people's gun buying habits. And now they've basically tapered off and normalized. But the problem is, it's like any other industry when it grows super fast, and then sales are down. They're like, well, who's going to go? Nobody wants to go. Nobody wants to volunteer to go, but somebody's going to have to go. Some companies are going to go, and that's just the way it is. And it's kind of like when we were in I don't even think they do it anymore. It's probably too violent. But musical chairs, man. Play musical chairs in gym when you were in elementary school. They had the little record player.
I remember those days.
And that's because somebody grabbed the needle off the record, and you had to grab a chair. And they were always short one chair. And that's the situation our industry's in. There aren't enough chairs. And so when the music stops, the question is who's going to be minus a chair.
Well, let me read from a statement from Delton. You remember Delton, manufacturers of AR-15s.
Yep.
I had worked on and off with Delton. I had 6 of their rifles at one point. They were a sponsor of the show many years ago. They were fun people to work with. I used to work with Cassandra there. Here's a statement if you go to their website, del-ton.com. Thank you for your support. Delton is closing. That pretty much says it all. Okay. As Delton prepares to close its doors, we want to take a moment to express our deepest gratitude to the incredible people who have been part of our journey. To our loyal customers, your trust in our products and support of our mission has been the cornerstone of our success. Every purchase, every kind word, and every moment spent using our products has meant the world to us. To our vendors and partners, your collaboration, innovation, and shared commitment have been invaluable in helping us deliver quality and reliability to our customers. To our dedicated employees, you are the heart and soul of Delton. Your hard work, passion, and unwavering commitment have shaped our legacy and built a company we can all be proud of. Together, we've achieved so much, and though this chapter is ending, the memories, partnerships, and friendships will remain. Thank you for being part of the Delton story. With heartfelt appreciation, the Delton team. Delton gone. And there are others. Sky is gone. There are others as well. And it was...
Well, go
ahead.
Yeah, and there's a lot that are just basically gun companies in name only now, because they got gobbled up during the GWAT buying frenzy.
Yeah, it was Justin Moon, CEO of Car Arms, told us a few weeks back live on the program. He said, in these market conditions, he said, if a company is not well diversified, they won't make it. And when I asked him to, explain what you mean as a CEO of well diversified in this market, where specifically are you going with that? And his response was right up front, what you would expect. He said, if you're just a one-gun wonder, you're done. You've got to have a product lineup that's diversified. And he was right about that. And then you've got companies like, of course, Glock and, all the big ones. Anybody can name the manufacturers that have great different products.
During the dark times of the Clinton era assault weapons ban, do you remember when Ruger was making golf clubs, when they were making drivers?
I think I do. Now that you mention that, I hadn't thought about that in years.
They were making drivers.
Retooling a little bit, huh?
Yes, they were making golf clubs, and they had the Phoenix on them. They were branded and everything. A funny story. I remember this is they were like a big fat head. I don't know if you golf.
No, that's not relaxing to me.
I don't either, but they were like, some of these clubs have these giant fat heads or whatever. Well, they came out with it because of the assault weapons ban and so forth. And I think it was one of the governing bodies of golf said that it gave an unfair advantage or something, and they wouldn't allow it in tournament play. They couldn't win for losing, man. They
that's too bad.
And they had them out with an assault club. That's an assault driver.
Now, I know a lot of people that play golf, obviously. My son's a great golfer. He's got great natural ability. To me, it was never fun. And I subscribe to the old Colonel Dave Grossman deal, right? To me, a golf course is a perfectly good waste of land that should be a shooting range, quite frankly, a long-distance shooting range.
A criminal waste of a perfectly good range.
It really, truly is. No, to me, look, I get it. A lot of people love to play golf. It's just not me. Chasing that ball around is not relaxing to me at all. Never has been. That's what my guitars are for.
Yeah. So, they you can still pick those up on eBay. I looked the other day, and you can find them. For those of you who don't believe
kind of
me,
interesting
like,
to have
I don't
one.
believe you.
I'd put that on the wall. Yeah. Hang it on the wall next to one of my replica guns or something.
Driver, man. Yeah. But you're right. Yeah, people got to diversify, and well, what Ruger did with that was really smart. Was they partnered with Magpul to do the RXM, and that's what companies are going to have to do. They're going to have to form these strategic alliances, and a lot of them are. A lot of them are forming strategic alliances.
Yeah. I don't know. This industry is hurting right now, ladies and gentlemen. It's hurting, and look, I get it. Everybody is. We all feel the impact. We're feeling it here at Armed American Radio. I know Paul feels it. Everybody does. But we've been here before. Okay? But you're right, Paul. That dynamic that's in play now is unusual because we were riding. I don't build guns. Okay? I talk about guns. Am I really a part of the industry? But the industry itself, the firearms industry itself, you're right, was riding this huge wave and became accustomed to massive sales. We were seeing, of course, over 1 million guns a month for the last 3 years being sold. We know that from the NICS background checks. It's the best estimation that we have is the 4473 from the ATF. And as those numbers were growing, it was evident across the board. It's evident now that they're not anymore. Trust me on that one. I can tell you from firsthand experience. So it's very important that we support the businesses that are out there, ladies and gentlemen. Believe me, including our sponsors. Please support them all. You can find them all at armedamericanradio.com. We'll be back with Paul. 2 more segments to go. by visiting nra.org/AAR and join today. Welcome back to the show. Yeah, welcome in, ladies and gentlemen. Armed American Radio's Daily Defense, brought to you every day by the National Rifle Association. Please join the National Rifle Association. We need you in this fight, ladies and gentlemen, bigger than we've ever needed you before, believe it or not. And if you live behind a blue wall, you know what I'm talking about. We make it real easy for you. I'm just going to ask you to step up. Just do the 1 year if that's what you can do. It's $35. You're going to get a free range bag out of the deal. Okay, if you can swing the 3-year at $85, that's a $15 savings. The 5-year, $25 savings. And the life membership, a $500 savings. Is $1,000 for a life. Whichever one you can pick, you're going to get a free gift. Either the range bag for 1 to 3 years, 5-year life, you're going to get the binoculars. Either way, it's a great deal. We're saving you some money. And you're in the fight with us. And we need you in the fight with us. Trump's in office. Doesn't matter. Those of you in Virginia know. But we make it easy for you. NRA.org/AAR. Join us, please. It's $35 for the annual membership. We need your help here. Bad. The industry needs your help. They're coming at you, and they will never stop, as Ryan Petty says. Welcome back to the CZ Studios with me. Mark Walters filling your prescription for freedom on a Friday. We're halfway down already, Paul. Welcome back in, my brother. Paul Markel, student of...
Getting right back on it, have you already talked with your audience about Connecticut going after Ruger?
We have talked about Ruger. We've talked about Everytown. We've talked about what it is they want to do, but I'll let you take it away because it's a great topic for conversation.
Well, no, Connecticut's they're trying to be little California.
Yep.
And they're trying to say that the RXM can be auto switched.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So bless Ruger's heart, they make a Ruger branded Glock 19, and everyone's all excited and they're doing well, and then this garbage comes up. But let's be honest. Doesn't matter how many laws they pass. How many original frame Glocks are in the world right now? 10 million?
At least.
Like original, yeah. So, and then that doesn't even count. I mean, the U.S. patent expired, 5-10 years ago?
Mm-hmm.
It's been a while. So you've got your stealth system, shadow system. You got all these Glock clones, basically G19, G17
right.
clones, plus Glock, and the gangbangers are buying these. They're getting these auto switches now. They're not getting them from Temu anymore.
Mm-hmm.
They got them from Temu, and then they reverse engineered them. Now they're making them with 3D printers.
Mm-hmm.
So the fact of the matter is, a person who is wanting to break the law
will break the law.
Again, they're going to do it. None of these laws are going to affect the gang members. They're only going to affect law-abiding citizens.
It's interesting to point out, Paul, too, when you mentioned Connecticut, you mentioned Ruger. Everytown has already made it clear they're going after him. Here's the deal, ladies and gentlemen. In addition to what Paul is talking about, how many millions are already out there, and that criminals will criminal. That's what criminals do. Criminals be criminaling. That's why they're criminals, folks. They're not going to stop. None of it matters. But Everytown admits, by the way, that they're aware of none that have been converted, meaning the Rugers. Not one. But it can be. So we want them to do the same thing Glock did. They're claiming responsibility. They're claiming a victory here. And that's why, Paul, we didn't want to see Glock cave, because we knew that would happen. Glock's big enough to outlast it. They can do that. And they're going to.
Yeah.
And they're going to be fine. In fact, I'm going to go as far as saying, as with the release of their new guns, it's going to be a shot in the arm for the industry. Glock sales are going to go through the roof with these new V models. They're going to.
All right.
And you're going to see the numbers increase, but it'll be kind of a fake thing, because it will be a lot of Glock. And there's going to have to be a lot of innovation at some of these other companies right now, because people aren't parting with their money right now.
Well, I think what Glock's going to do with their next generation of guns is they're going to, because there have been several manufacturers that have done very little, small but meaningful upgrades that Glock has been kind of dragging their heels of. And I get it. I mean, every time you make a change to a production, if that costs money, you change a frame, that costs money. And I mean, how many frames are they? I mean, holy cow, how many frames are they already sitting on? I mean, they're not just going to throw them away. So, but with the upcoming, the new Glocks and the changes in them, the slight upgrades, and I think what they're going to do, the rumor is they're going to fix the Glock MOS plate problem, because with the and it's not their fault. You've got these people making mini red dots, right? Mm-hmm. And you've got basically 4 different footprints. And so the manufacturer of the pistol doesn't know. They're like, well, which one's going to be popular? Is the Leupold one going to be the most popular? Is the Trijicon going to be the most popular? You know, the Doctor Optic, the Burris Fast Fire, you know, all these things. And they can't know. And like, come on, man. So they come up with a one size fits all, but every time you do a one size fits all, basically it's just like a Band-Aid. And I think what they're going to do, they haven't told me, but I think what they're going to do come SHOT Show is you're going to see Glock MOS slides that don't require the additional plate system, because that's the weak link. That's the weakness in that system is the plates and the tiny little screws and people putting they feel the need to put these giant sights on their guns because the thing sits up so high and so forth. So if they could do that, I mean, and that's what they've already been teasing. They've already been teasing dedicated slides anyway. Look at the border patrol pistol.
Yeah, I'm at a Glock store right now, and I just noticed this in the chat. I really hadn't been paying attention to the release of it. And GlockStore.com, Glock 17V 9mm is up there right now on sale for $539 at GlockStore.com. So it's out there. And I don't know. I don't want to give the website of what popped up in the chat because I went to the site. I couldn't pull it up. But Glock Store has it, so they're out there. And ladies and gentlemen, the only difference that I see on the gun at first glance is it says Glock 17V next to it on the slide.
What?
Looks just like a standard Glock 17 to me. But it'll be interesting to see some of the specs and when I can dig into it. I'd love to get my hand on one. But $539 is reasonable. Glock 23V coming soon in 40 cal. Glock 23V MOS coming in 40. Glock 45V in 9mm at $539. Looks like the 23V in 40 is going to be $539. The Glock 23V MOS is going to be $620. Glock 45V 9mm $539 coming. Image coming soon. And the Glock 19X V 9mm is $596. That gun is going to sell like crazy. All of them will.
Dude, did you just say 40? Who is still buying that?
The Glock 45V in 9mm, $539.
No, 45. 40 caliber.
Oh, the 40 caliber. Yeah, 2 of them. The Glock 23 and 40 caliber. It's, as you know, and we'll just tell this for benefit of listeners, the 23 is the 19 and 40, guys. Okay? And I had one for a long time. Back during the 40 craze, I had to have my hands on it, Glock 23.
Oh, yeah. That was the first one that I had. Mm-hmm. I bought a 17 in 1992, and then in 93, when the 23s came out, I got one. And that was back then. But it's not 1993 anymore. And we've learned, or we're supposed to learn, from our mistakes. It just makes me laugh. It's like, that's a dead cartridge, bro.
Originally, it was designed for the FBI at the FBI request, and the 40 guys is essentially a necked down 45. Is the way they tried to sell it.
It's a 10 millimeter
10
light.
Millimeter, yeah. 10 millimeter light.
It's a 10 mil light because the FBI, after the Miami shootout, decided that they needed a bigger pistol. So they panic bought the Smith & Wesson 10 mils, but then they realized that that was a big boy gun. That was an adult gun, and they didn't have that many adults in service. The guns were too big. The recoil was too much. So they're like, oh yeah, we can't do this. So they made the change.
The industry has been good, and I just chalk that up to innovation. When the FBI wants it, you release it to the public, which they did. I had one. I didn't mind it. I carried it for a long time, before I found other guns that I liked a lot better. But my 17 still, I wear that like an old pair of jeans, man. I love it. We'll be back. One more segment to go with Paul. Back at you, guys. This segment is brought to you by Attorneys on Retainer. Get the only self-defense program for gun owners backed by a real law firm, the Attorneys for Freedom. Visit them online at attorneysonretainer.us. Welcome back. Yeah, guys, you need to do that. Attorneysonretainer.us, attorneysonretainer.us. And again, use that promo code AAR and take advantage of that. We're going to knock $50 off the sign-up fee for you, normally $100. I've had a lot of people say thanks for that because I was going to do it anyway, and you saved me the $50. Guys, in today's day and age, $50 is $50. Let me ask you a question. If you saw a $50 bill in front of you on the road, would you bend down and pick it up? Hell yeah, you would. So that's essentially the equivalent. So take advantage of it. Get an attorney in your hip pocket. God forbid you have to use your firearm, $35 a month, and we're going to save you that $50 bill in the process. Please take advantage of that. And now, on the new announcement from attorneysonretainer.us, by the way, the Freedom Law Firm, guess what? Attorneys for Freedom Law Firm, guess what? You get four attorneys. Think of it as a dream team. If you ever have to go to trial and defend against an overzealous prosecution simply for defending yourself, ladies and gentlemen, take advantage of this. It is really the biggest no-brainer we've ever offered. Please join them. And if you do, you get to come out and see us all in February at the annual conference, which is going to be an awful lot of fun. Ryan Petty, myself, Alan Gottlieb, AWR Hawkins, and many others. I think Jared Yanis is going to be there from Guns and Gadgets. Lots of us will be there having a great time. And hopefully I MC that thing, which I love to do. So join us, attorneys on retainer.us. The promo code is AAR. And join the National Rifle Association. Please, please, please visit all of our great partners. Purchase something from them. Help them. They are all hurting, okay? And we need them, and they need you, and it's how we do this every single day together. So let's stick together here, okay? We will get through what is a down industry right now. We'll do it together, okay? But we want Armed American Radio to be here for another 17 years, and we need our partners to do that. All of our great sponsors, help them, please. And you can find them all at armedamericanradio.com. Buy something from Bud's Gun Shop. Pick up a crossbreed holster. Buy a new car. Look at something. Pick something up from CZ, okay? Pick up some Heaven's Harvest food. Get your web work done at Centerfire Digital. Got some arthritis pain? Patriots Relief has you covered. I use that stuff every single day. Just use the promo code AAR everywhere you go. MyPillow.com. Please support Mike. All of them. Great folks. Paul Markel, student of the gun. Welcome back, my brother. So we've got 5 minutes left in the show. I wanted to talk with you a little bit about this. I don't know if you saw this story. AWR wrote it. I sent this to him a couple days back. Wasn't sure if he had seen this. And passenger finds loaded firearm magazine on Frontier Airlines plane. Did you see this story? I believe Fox ran it originally.
Oh, no.
Yeah, right here in the ATL, brother, right here in Atlanta. Here's what happened. These stories always fascinate me. Now, when you see that headline, what goes through your mind? Passenger finds loaded firearm magazine on Frontier Airlines plane. What's the first thing that you think when you hear something like that? What's the first thing?
Oh, somebody realized they screwed up and they ditched it.
My first thought was, how did they get it through security?
Well, yeah, I mean, that's not hard. People accidentally get stuff through all the time. They're more concerned with grandma and her bag of grapes and taking away my bottled water than they are with stopping terrorists.
Interestingly, with the reality of this...
TSA,
Go ahead.
No, TSA, they're more interested in stealing stuff out of your bags. I've had stuff stolen out of my bags by TSA, so that's why I don't play that game anymore.
I had, and one of these days I'll retell the story on air because it was a good one. I got stopped in Phoenix a number of years ago coming back from the Second Amendment Foundation through Phoenix, and I changed airlines, which is always interesting. Back at that time, AirTran was flying. They were my go-to airline, and I loved them. I flew first class on that airline for 15 years because I flew so much at the time. And they actually had a real point system. 12 points kept you at platinum level. And it was 1 point per takeoff and landing, okay? So all you had to do was fly 6 times, and you had 12 points. Well, I was flying far more than that, sometimes 6 times in a month. So it was easy for me to do that. But, yeah, I have a couple fun airport stories. I wrote an article for it for Concealed Carry Magazine years ago called Tink, Tink, Tink. And that's because when I got to my hotel and I cleaned out my bag, there was a round when I turned the suitcase over, a round hit the floor, the tile floor of the hotel. Tink, tink, tink. I looked down, and I had gotten through security by accident with a small .22 round that was tucked in my suitcase. Another time, I found a round for the gun that I was actually carrying and traveling with in a, carried lawfully on board in a checked bag, but I found a round in my pocket. And, that was real instrumental, Paul, in why I don't put that extra round in a magazine, okay? If I've got a 17-round magazine, it's got 17 rounds in it. I don't top it off anymore as a result of that, because you always inevitably find those rounds on a counter somewhere, the extra round or whatever it may be. It winds up in your pocket, it gets washed, or it sits somewhere. I was notorious for that. And then that happened, and I actually confronted, I went up to TSA because I was in line. When I found it in my pocket, I found that in a Bic lighter, and I'm like, well, I could just walk over and take this lighter or whatever and put that round in and drop it in there. But no, you know what's going to happen? I'm going to get to my destination and find that Tampa International Airport's on lockdown because a live round was found in a garbage can or something stupid like that. They're going to go back and review the deals, and I'm going to get arrested. So I just confronted TSA. I said, I need to speak to somebody. This is what, and they went and got my bag. Thank God. They saw that there was one empty round in that box, and they allowed me through. But they did warn me, you could be arrested for this. They did not, because I approached them and told them what was going on, and they were very cool about it. They also took me in a room behind a wall that I had passed a million times and didn't know it was a room, okay? So, guys, they're watching, and you need to be really careful. But what really happened here didn't dawn on me. It was an air marshal. I didn't even think about that at first. My first thought was, well, who got it through? Okay. Yeah, well, there you go.
I'm surprised they're still flying air marshals.
Yeah, on Frontier of all airlines too. So, guys, if you're flying Frontier, Frontier's got air marshals. Let's take a look at this. It says Fox 5 Atlanta reported the magazine was found near seat 7A on an Airbus A320 parked at gate C6. Been to that gate many times in Concourse C, and the initials KH were on it. The pilot of the plane announced that everyone would be deplaning for a security sweep, after which every passenger was rescreened before allowed back on board. No other items of concern were found during the screening, nor aboard the plane, which departed for Cincy just after 8 p.m. Frontier indicated the magazine belonged to a law enforcement officer who had flown on the plane during an earlier flight. And here's the statement from Frontier. We can confirm that on Sunday, November 9th, during the boarding process for Flight 4771 from ATL to Cincy, a passenger discovered a loaded ammunition magazine near her seat. Customers were asked to deplane while a security sweep was made. A subsequent investigation confirmed that the ammunition belonged to a law enforcement officer who was on an earlier flight the same day. Said they were taken, the ammunition magazine were taken into custody of the Atlanta Police Department, and the property owner was referred to ATL PD to retrieve his items. Paul, we've only got 30 seconds. Is that law enforcement officer still an LEO?
Oh yeah.
Yeah, it's.
Are you kidding me?
Well, the question is, what's he doing taking the magazine? All I can think of is he had an extra magazine in his pocket. He put it behind the seat. Who knows? I don't know.
Yeah, who knows? But
this does not say it was a federal air marshal. One could make that assumption.
Yeah, it could have just been a cop.
Where can people find you, Paul, on a Friday?
Oh man, I would love for you to go to Student of the Gun University. That's SOTGU.com. Use the promo code AAR. You get 15% off your tuition.
That'll do it, ladies and gentlemen. Paul Markel, Student of the Gun. We love you, fan fave, for a reason. Paul, have a wonderful weekend in beautiful Wyoming. It's going to be a gorgeous weekend here. I intend on doing the same thing. I'm going to grill some Bubba Burgers in a few minutes, ladies and gentlemen. And my wife's out of town till Monday. Oh, no. What am I going to do? I'm going to grill some burgers for me and my son and hit the range tomorrow. Paul, thanks for being here. SOTGU.com. Use the promo code AAR. Get a discount on Paul's services over there. Enjoy your day. Stay safe, ladies and gentlemen. Enjoy your weekend. We'll see you on the Monstercast on Sunday.
You just filled your prescription for freedom with Mark Walters, presented by the National Rifle Association. The National Rifle Association on the Armed American Radio Network.
Okay, guys, thanks for being here today. Appreciate it very much. Been a fun day. If you were watching us over at Unhinged and Unholstered, that's going to be the name of the new podcast. We'll be dropping that very soon. Testing live was underway today, and it was a lot of fun. And as I said, we had Carrie-Anna Claire, who was the guinea pig for us today. Unfortunately, her camera kept sketching out on us, but that was on her end. We were able to confirm that. Everything on our end went really well. So the podcast will be dropping sooner than we thought, and still later than we thought. We had originally anticipated dropping that in March of 2025, but I had to make some changes to an organization that we were working with behind the scenes that could no longer help us out. So it caused a little bit of a delay. But regardless, it's going to be a lot of fun. We're going to talk a lot about life, a lot about real stuff, not just guns. It's going to be far more than that, including some life hacks and a lot of cool stuff. And we'll get really in-depth with our guests in ways that we can't do on the radio, and be very frank and very candid with you in ways that we can't do because of FCC. So we'll have an awful lot of fun together. In the meantime, enjoy your weekend, what's left of your day today, whatever time you're listening to us. Enjoy your weekend. Stay safe. We'll see you on the Monster Cast on Sunday. Have a safe weekend, folks. Thanks for tuning in.